All right, so as marketers trying to understand how consumers make decisions, we can think about why they make a decision to begin with. We can think about the process they go through in making a decision. We can also think about what types of decisions they make. But something else that we really need to consider are other things that affect the decisions that we make. Or, in other words, what influences might change the decision that a consumer makes. Well, the first sort of condition that we need to consider is economic conditions. That's a major factor in the decisions we make because that affects our budget, which affects what we can or cannot afford. It also affects our confidence. So we may have plenty of money, but if we think we might not be getting more money in the near future, that will change our decision making. On the other hand, if things are great economically and we expect it to continue that way, we may spend much more money. And so that can have a huge impact on the purchases that we make. Another consideration are psychological factors. And this has to do with our attitudes, our behaviors, how we see things. That's going to have a huge influence on our decision making. Different people have different psychology or psychological makeup, and so they make different decisions. That's just a reality of life, but trying to understand that is an important task for us as marketers. Next, we have social influences, and this has to do with the people that we surround ourselves with. This will often impact the purchases that we make, whether it's friends that are with us when we make a purchase, or just the people that we associate with and that will know what we purchase later. In other situations, it can affect us in terms of who we want to be like. So social influences have a lot of impact on the purchases we make. Also, cultural characteristics have a lot of impact. Culture influences the way we view things in terms of our values and our beliefs. So that's definitely going to come into play when we make a purchase. Do we think it's important to have a nice car, or do we think it's important to have a car that will get us from A to B? Our culture will have a lot of influence on the way we see that, and that'll affect the purchases that we make. Lastly, there are external circumstances that have to do with conditions at the time of purchase, store displays, environmental factors like weather or the temperature or music in the store. All of those things can affect the decisions that we make and how we make them. So as marketers, we need to consider all of these sort of external factors, additional factors, when we think about how consumers make decisions. And that can help us be more effective with our marketing.